Hi everybody, hope you're well. This video is requested by Soul of Silence, and this is a rundown of the creations I've done in the past. So I have 5 creations in total on the entirety of Horse. 3 of them are international and 2 of them are on UK. The 3 that I have on international were submitted in 2010, which was like 4 or 5 years ago now. And there's 3. There is a pony coat, which is Twilight Connemara Champion, Cahir and Pride, which is a unicorn coat, and Starcross, which is a Pegasus coat. They actually were all submitted as unlimited coats, but I was given the option to retire them, I think many years later, maybe 2 years after that. So they're all retired coats now in the game. I have them open here. So this is probably my favorite out of the 3 on international that I had. This is the one I was most proud of when I did it. So this one was used 280 times, but there's actually only 64 copies left on the entire international server. Then I have my unicorn one, and it's like an Irish themed unicorn, and there is 94 copies left out of, I think, let me see, 101 uses, so it's actually survived quite well, I think. And then there is this one, which is, there's 79 copies of it, and it was used 100 times. So even though this one was used the most, it's actually the rarest now out of all of these. So they're all retired now. One of the things I think I can definitely see a huge improvement in is, and this is partially thanks to another player on Horse who spent a lot of time helping me like point out faults with my creations, and that is I'm really bad habit of blocking, like block coloring. Like you can see that this coat is hugely flat. Like I've tried to do some shading, but you can see that it's very blocky. The colors look very much the same. There isn't very much definition or difference between those, which was something I really had to work on, and it took a long time. There had to be a moment where I actually clicked and I was like, I see what you're talking about, and then I was able to sort of move forward with there. But there was a long period of time there where I did creations and they were a little bit better than these ones, but they never got through. This was submitted whenever the creation voting thing didn't exist and it was different. It was actually that it was submitted to Horse. They looked at it, decided whether they were happy enough with it to go through or not. On UK, I have 2. One of them got through in 2014, just near the middle of it, and then another one in 2015. The interesting thing is I can actually see how many times they've been used on all servers. So Flying Candy Floss, which was this one, is a Pegasus, and it's been used 1,043 times, and it's a unlimited use coat. So this was one of the coats that I think around that time that I started to learn that I shouldn't be blocking, like doing the way I created my coats. I should be paying more attention really to getting like different variety of color in that. And that's whenever I started to see a difference, and I started to see my horses looking slightly more 3D than my previous ones when they're really, really flat. So this is possibly one of my favorites, mainly because I just love the wings. I spent a huge amount of time on the wings, and I'm really pleased with how the wings turned out on that. And then my other coat that got through in UK in 2015 was this one's pony coat. And this is probably one that I spent the longest on in terms of hours. I spent, I don't know, 40 plus hours on this. And not all in one go, by the way, but like in bits and pieces, and I counted up that was roughly how many hours were spent on it. It took a really long time to do that. There's a huge amount of layers went into that. I'm still not completely happy with it, but I'm reasonably happy with it. It's definitely been a lot better than my previous ones. It's a huge difference that's gone in between those 4 or 5 years. I don't really draw as much as I used to, I think, but I still do enjoy it. So it's something I actually have the last couple of days trying to do a Halos Rare background, and I get halfway through and then I'm like, I don't like this, and then I just close it, which I think is my biggest problem when I draw. If I take a real notion and I really have something in my head and I want it to look exactly like it does in my head, it takes a really long time. Like this is as close as I've ever got to drawing anything that looked like in my head. But it's still not exactly how I wanted to get it, and I think it's just going to take time to get to that level. But I need to keep practicing, and I'm kind of being a bit lazy at the minute. And the problem with the other thing I have at the minute is I don't have any software that works really well. Like the software that I use to do this and this doesn't is only for, I think it's only in beta on Mac, and it's like when I use it, it's super buggy. So sometimes I'll be like drawing a line, maybe trying to get a specific direction, and it like freezes, and then I get this really weird squiggle going on, and then it's frustrating. So these codes were actually created on my old laptop, but my old laptop's kind of dead. So it's going to take a while, I think, before I find a program that I can work with and doesn't try my patience, because the one thing I can't stand about digital drawing is that, you know, if it freezes on you or it doesn't react how you want it, or it doesn't, you know, whenever you're using actual like proper traditional methods like drawing with an actual pen and paper, you have so much more control, I think. So sometimes it's a bit of a pain. But that's kind of me having a little bit of a rant. So sorry about that. Anyway, guys, thank you to Subtle Silence for requesting the video, and I hope you have a lovely day. Bye, guys.